So I've created a small HTML file over here. It just contains an input field. As you can see over here, just contains an input field, and the script.js index.js script file has been linked with this, and the script file is nothing but it just listen to the input, whatever is typed on the keyboard. It just listens to that and it fetches the data from server, and I've just printed it to basic understanding. So let us check it over here. Whenever I type something like computer UPS, as you can see, it is fetched data 11 times from the server. But when you consider an online shopping cart like Flipkart, I've just opened a network tab over here, and when I just it's called the first auto suggest, as you can see, the fetch API. So whenever I just start typing computer UPS, it shows all the details from the database as an API, and it's just called thrice, something. Even I can type UPS, it's just called like 5-6 times, which is pretty amazing. It just calls API only like 6 times, unlike us, whatever we have done over here 11 times. When I type Y, it calls the first request. When I click on where, see, let's see how search bar works in websites like Amazon, Flipkart, YouTube, Google, etc. So here I have created a HTML file. It's known as index.html, and I'm pointing to index.js file using script tag. Let's see how to create search bar by coding it. So here I'll just create a search bar constant, which I'm pointing to the input field over there, document dot query selected. So, and I'll just select that query hyphen bar search bar, and I'll just check whether that is working. I'll just console.log is just nothing but to print it. So when I go over here, just inspect and go to console, and yeah, it's working. I'm getting the input. Good. So let's dive into the code. So the event listener, and it listens to input inside the input attribute, whatever input has been entered, and I'm running a function over here. And I'll just check whether this function is running. So by running console.log, and so see, I'm getting this output, so it's running, so it's fine. I'll create a function. I'll name it as reduce fetch. So it's an arrow function. So what I'll do, instead of calling a function over here, I'll call the reduce fetch method over there. Yeah. So, and I'll create another function which fetches all the data, and I'll just pass this data fetch over here, and I'll pass the delay. So, and I'll accept it as an argument over here, function comma delay, and I'll return another function. As this is an it executes a function, I have to return another function. So return function, this is an anonymous function, So it accepts, it gets the array of arguments. So I'll just pass this, and I'll create a set timeout which should execute after certain interval of time, which that interval of time should just be passed as delay. And here I'll just console, rather than console logging, I would call the function attribute over there by passing I'll create this over here. So I'll point to this, and I'll pass this over here. So pass that argument over there, I mean that variable over there. Remember, this function is nothing but data fetch, so I'll be calling that function, and every time it comes over here it executes that function. So if any person stops after a certain amount of delay, like stops typing for like 600 milliseconds, then it should fetch the data. If at all they continue to type in, so it should just clear the timeout. So I'll just call clear timeout, call a function over here. I should pass an argument over here, which should be I'll consider timer is equal to this thing, and just pass the timer over here. But this timer value keeps changing, so let me create a, so I'll pass here, if there exists a timer, only then I have to clear timer and continue with the new timer. I mean, I have to start a new timeout and then again fetch the timer. Again, when it is done, it calls the reduce fetch for the second word, and again this process continues. So here that one, and I have to pass even the arguments. Just pass the arguments. So I'll be receiving that arguments over here, field, comma, and the arguments passed. I have the value whatever is entered inside that input field or in the field method, I mean inside the input which I have in field. So I can just access that field. I just console.log. So let us see how this works on the browser. I'll just clear this and start typing computer. See, it fetches the data from some server after you have typed something. Let us type space, and it gives some time interval and then fetches the data. UPS, and it waits and then fetches the data. So it doesn't fetch for each and every keystroke, it just fetches the data when you stop for certain interval of time. So that is better considered to fetching it number of times, many number of times. Consider I clear the data completely, and again it's fetch data for nothing. So if at all that's the case, I could, so if at all there is no any value that has been passed, then it should fetch data from server, which is, so let's just check out. So whenever I type something, it fetches the data for that. Whenever there's nothing, it should fetch the cached data or recently accessed data. So it's working. I've created an application which has a server running over here. I've written it in a server-side code using Node.js, and I've created a front-end application. It is similar to whatever application you have created, but I've fetched the data from there and I've displayed it to the users in the front-end UI. So let's see how that works. And this is the UI which I've created. So let me create a post. I'll just use this lorem ipsum. See, I get the message over here. So it's just a garbage data which I'm collecting, which it's already there. So it's just creating some useless post so that we can test our app. So whenever I click this, it gets all the posts written using a basic HTML itself. So this has access to all the titles. So whenever I type something over here, it fetches all the data. Like whenever I type W, it fetches all the data which starts from W. As you can see here, W it does everything. So if I want this data, I can just type where. So and you just click on these things. So let me show you how it fetches the data. So it fetches you the array over here, and if I click on Y, it fetches all the Y related, and it has one data, as you can see over here. So whenever you clear it, you get all the cached values, recently accessed values. I've used basic JavaScript for this. So let us check out the network tab too, and let me clear it. And when I type Y, it calls the first request. When I click on where, see, this is better. Thank you guys. I'm gonna wrap this video. Hope this video was informative. Please do like, share and subscribe this video for more good content.